What is going on, all you Pokemon collected maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and it is Sunday Fun Day, which means we're going to be talking about the cards that have been moving and shaking the most on TCG Player. And this list, I get excited every Sunday to do this. Obviously, you know me, I'm a high energy type guy, and I freaking love Pokemon cards. But this week is even more exciting for me. Obviously, we're going to talk about, some things everybody's aware of. Obviously, you can see by the graphic, there's going to be some Prismatic Evolution, Sylveon stuff we're going to talk about. But what gets me really excited, and remember, this list comes straight from TCG Player. They are the ones who send this data out. I don't go and farm it. So what excites me about this list is there are cards that are moving and shaking for all of the right reasons. They're moving because there are things that are happening in the future which are driving some older cards up in price, and we talk about these all the time on the channel, so I can't wait to bring it up. A great example of that is we have been talking about the XY era Pokemon cards for well over a year here on this channel. I track the value of the top 20 singles cards in the XY era every single month. I do a video at the end of every month and I show you guys how the aggregate of those top 20 singles cards have been moving. And for the last 16 months, that is, I'm not misspeaking, for the last 16 months that aggregate value has been going up. And ever since we knew there was going to be Mega Pokemon coming up in the new Mega series that's going to be released sometime next year, we've seen those cards accelerate, but we knew that. We've talked about it ahead of time, and we're going to see a lot of patterns here that kind of follow the same thing. So I'm excited to share these cards with you. There's some awesome artwork, some amazing Pokemon, and we're going to have a ton of fun. And as I said, we do this every single Sunday. So if you get into this, if you find value, if you really enjoy it, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the Sylveon from Prismatic Evolutions. Now, the interesting thing about this, as all Prismatic Evolutions seem to be absolutely popping off, this one followed a different pattern. Now, it was irrationally high when people first had access to it, for this card going for almost $700. So no surprise that it started to drop, but it continued to drop. I mean, it came down into the $450 price range. So when we were talking about all of the other Prismatic Evolution cards, all the other Evolution cards, I mean, their prices were just going through the roof. This one was working its way back down. It kind of felt like they were all trying to revert to the mean, right? They were trying to find some common middle ground. Well, what was interesting and why this one specifically popped up on the movers and shakers list over the last week is because we're starting to see this one go on the offensive. As I said, it's been working its way down ever since it started off so irrationally high. And it started at $460 over the last month. And you can see that people have just been buying in slowly and steadily. A couple purchases here, a couple purchases there. Then you see back around 411, you'll see that there was 12 or 13 of them that were purchased. So somebody went on TCG Player, probably bought all of them they could at $480, thinking it's got some further upside to it. So now it's up at $505, and it seems to be holding that price. It's been, there's been a couple that have been sold. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think we're going to have a lot more Prismatic Evolutions in the future. If I had to pick one set that I think Pokemon Company is absolutely going to double down on, and hopefully, I pray, print into the ground, I hope this is it. The artwork is amazing. The cards are stunning. All the big names are in there, and I just want all the collectors out there to be able to get their hands on it. So hopefully we'll see a lot more of this in the future. There have been times where even when supply is readily available, even when the cards aren't that hard to get, prices just remain high because the demand is so high. So I'm not saying that the prices are going to fall back down to earth. We're just going to have to wait to see, but we'll see one way or the other. I hope we see more Prismatic Evolution so everybody can get their hands on it. Next one we're talking about. Now, I did the 1 year graph for this, even though this is really kind of a week over week view. And that's because we have talked about this card when we first started talking about this card, it was a $100 card. This had to have been, a year and a half ago. But Unbroken Bonds, you're actually going to see a lot of Unbroken Bonds cards throughout the course of this video. Unbroken Bonds is having itself a month. And this Gardevoir and Sylveon card has just been the model of steady growth over the last year. Now, obviously, as of late, you'll see that there was a big price spike there. Somebody went on TCG Player or a group of somebody's and they bought 8 copies at one time, and you can see that really spiked the price up. But this is almost a $400 card. Really, 18 months ago, this was a $100 card. So it is incredible to think about how this card has grown over time. The Sun and Moon era with these tag team cards, the combination of 2 Pokemon is such a powerful tool because all it takes is one of those 2 Pokemon to be featured in a new set, to get incredibly hot, and that card is going to go up. So it's almost like you have better odds of the card appreciating because you got the chance of one of those 2 Pokemons at least getting hot in the future, which is going to drive that card up because, as I said, it is very, very common in the hobby for something new to drive the prices of something old. So I thought this was a really cool call out. Now, As I said, we're going to see what happened over the last 3 months because that's what this video is. And so as you can see, obviously for the last year, the card has done very well. But look at what's happened over the last 3 months. Over the last 3 months alone, the card is up 48%. And again, Prismatic Evolutions has really helped to drive all of this interest and excitement around Evolutions, even though I didn't think that was possible. Like after Evolving Skies, I didn't think it was possible for Evolutions to become more popular, but somehow Pokemon Company found a way to do it by launching this incredible set. Now, next card on this list, okay, Journey Together, right? This Articuno right here. This is one of my favorite pieces of artwork from the entire set, and I love the fact that it is down near the $25 range, coming in with a market price of $27. And you can see, if you look at the price graph, okay, it's starting to flatten out just a little bit, so I think it's going to find that support. I can't see it dropping much below $25. Who knows? The broader market, and tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video on how the whole Scarlet and Violet era has moved month over month. The broader market is getting really, really soft. Scarlet and Violet got hosed over the last month, so maybe it will, but again, I would feel very, very comfortable, even though it's a new set, even though I don't love buying new cards, because again, as more product is ripped, as more of these singles cards hit the market, we should expect the prices to come down, but I would pay $25 for this. And I don't normally say that about brand new sets, but I think the artwork is so incredibly cool. I think Journey Together in the long run, the set is going to do just fine. I just think that now, like I said, it's getting caught up in the whole market coming down, but I'd pay $25 for this card. I think the card's awesome. Absolutely love it, and I think it's really cool to see the newest set have cards with more approachable price points. Now, I told you we were going to see more Unbroken bonds in this video, right? And we talk about how new can drive old. Well, guess what? We have a black and white set that's going to be coming out. And guess what? I have a very, very strong feeling that Zoroark is going to be in the black and white set, right? And this is also partnered with Greninja. And unless you've been sleeping underneath a rock, you know that there is a big Greninja card in Twilight Masquerade, one of the biggest cards of the whole Sword and Shield era. So you got Greninja, which has all of this awesome momentum from the Twilight Masquerade special illustration rare that's going for almost $400. It's absolutely crazy how expensive that card is. Then you have Zoroark, which has a lot of really cool cards right now. Obviously, there's an N Zoroark, so it's featured in Journey Together, so obviously a lot of attention on that. And then you have the black and white set, which is going to be coming out, and Zoroark's going to be in that as well, so you got a lot of attention around that. So you just have this perfect storm of where both of these Pokemon just have a lot of positive momentum right now. And look, over the last 3 months, this card is up 64% to $183. Now, the jumping off point 3 months ago was still pretty high. It was at 110 bucks. That's nothing to shake a fist at, right? So I thought, why don't we see how the lesser valued one from Unbroken Bonds has performed? Is it the same pattern, or are people just going after the big cards with the hopes of a big payday? Well, take a look at this one. This is just the regular Greninja and Zoroark, right? And this is from, again, Unbroken Bonds, and this is a 6-month price graph, and it is up 173.92% over the last 6 months. And you'll see it's been a little more choppy, right? You'll see that around December to January, it went up a whole lot, and then it's kind of been softening it a little bit. But then again, Journey Together comes out, you got Zoroark, right? We've got black and white coming out, and then you got the price that spiked again. So this is up to $40, and 6 months ago, this was a $12 card. Like, it is incredible. If we have the ability to identify what's going to be, popular in the future, or what kind of Pokemon cards are going to be, the most sought after, like the mega ones that we've talked about, if we know what Pokemon are going to be featured in the upcoming sets, it gives us a really cool opportunity to kind of look in the Wayback Machine and see if there's some other cards that could possibly, benefit from some upside there. So I thought this was a really cool one. And then the final card on the list, and we're just going to keep with Unbroken Bonds because I think, why the heck not? They featured this on the movers and shakers list, and I will say there hasn't been a ton of price movement in terms of this. It's up 9% over the last 3 months. Traditionally, we see bigger moves when we're talking about the movers and shakers list. Not a ton of volume here either, you know what I mean? But again, think about, we've got a Reshiram set that's going to be coming out soon. Obviously, there's a lot of Reshiram which is going on right now in Journey Together, so a lot of momentum around this, and you partner that with Charizard, and I just think this is a worthy candidate for us to talk about and mention because who knows? You got everything that you need here. You got a hot current Pokemon, and you have the most popular Pokemon of all time here slammed together on a really, really cool card from a Sun and Moon era set. So you could go far. There's a lot worse you could do than taking a look at this card because I think in the future this card might see some serious upside. So with that out of the way, there it is. The cards that have been moving and shaking the most on TCG Player over the last week. This was a really fun list to put together. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a blast. I love seeing cards from Sun and Moon era kind of come back to life with a whole lot of price spikes. And I think we got some really exciting times ahead of us here in the Pokemon space. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found value in it. I hope you had a ton of fun. And if you did, give us a thumbs up or hit that subscribe button. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out. And I really appreciate it. But most importantly, you have an epic rest of your Sunday. Talk to you soon, everybody. See ya. Bye.